You're probably out there thinking, my Tesla Model S is the most important car of the 21st century. No. No. I'm here to tell you that that is total bogus. That right there is the most important car of the 21st century, the Toyota Prius, and more specifically, the very first generation. And in this video, I'm going to try to change your mind, and maybe we'll learn together why the Prius is so important. You see, prior to 1997, most cars were exactly the same for the last 80 years. They were powered by dead dinosaurs, and you stop at a gas station, fill them up, get a couple hundred miles out of that tank, stop again, fill it up, get a couple hundred more miles, and off you went. But Toyota said, what if we can improve on that idea? I mean, yes, we'll still use regular gasoline, but what if we can add something that takes no additional effort from the driver, but makes it more efficient and makes the car a lot more efficient? And that is exactly what Toyota has done with this first gen Prius, because what they added, of course, is electrification. They took a front wheel drive platform, basically a Toyota Corolla, and then they added a big battery in the back, an electric motor in the front, and then came the difficult part of making it all work together seamlessly. And that is the magic of the Toyota Prius. What do you think of the new Prius we're driving?
Is it really new though?
I'm sorry, I keep calling it a new Prius because it's shiny and new, but it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the Prius has such a long history, like in the automotive world, like 20 years. Toyota was like stressing that, but it used to be such a cool car, and I'm sad to report it's not really that cool anymore. Like, Toyota's really lost that special cool factor that they used to have.
So Sophion has a Model 3. Which, in my opinion, has kind of sort of replaced the Prius as like the go-to green vehicle.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like people who drive a full electric car, they go back into hybrids and it kind of feels like yesterday's technology.
So what do you think what was that made it the old Prius special, and what is this one missing?
I think this thing is missing the uniqueness factor that it used to have. I mean, like the celebrities who bought this car back in the early 2000 eras, like they were the early adopters. They were like, trying to save the world while everyone else was just driving or obsessed with Hummers, because that's the same year that GM showed the Hummer H2 concept. But it was really just the green factor of it. And now with Priuses everywhere, I mean, Toyota says that they sold like almost 7 million worldwide. Is that what I think I saw?
Yeah, that's crazy.
6 million worldwide since in the last 20 years. There's a lot out there, and I don't necessarily think Toyota has kept that same secret sauce that the Prius has always had. But for one thing, the styling of this car is very, very like polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still have not gotten used to the design of this car. This one here that we're driving has those black wheels for like $300 extra. It looks okay, but the shape of this car just looks frumpy.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the interior of the first generation Toyota Prius. I've got my key here, and I can either use the fob or just simply insert the key into the door. And there we go. The vehicle is now unlocked. So for 2001, this was a monumental piece of technology. People had never seen anything like this vehicle. It had this bizarre dash that sloped across the length of the car, and in the middle you had your speed and important readouts. So to start it up, I take my key, I stick it into the ignition, much like most other cars from 2001, turn it on, foot on the brake, and start it up. And this is where things get really cool, because not only do you have that innovative center cluster, but you also have an actual touchscreen display, which has aged tremendously well. It does not look all that different from modern systems, and everything is integrated into this display. So let's take a look at, for example, the audio. So I just push the audio button and off it goes. It's all touchscreen with presets, just like more modern systems. I've got a map with navigation. I can even zoom out. And then is the really cool part. If I hit info and do trip information, there's my consumption, but more fun than that, is my energy monitor, so I can see exactly where the power is going, where it needs to go. No one had seen anything like this back in 2001. This blew people's minds. I've got power going to the battery when I'm stopped. The engine just comes on and turns off when it wants, and wow, I mean, it was so innovative back in the day. Other things you'll notice are these really crazy shifter handles. So you have to push this button and then pull it down into gear. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, and B. B is the extra regenerative setting on the Prius. Down here, things get a little bit more common, so I have automatic climate, just flick it to auto. Overall layout of this interior was really revolutionary. Look how the steering wheel just juts out from the dashboard, and the whole thing is sloped and it's smooth and it's just contoured. And then you've got these seats, no bolstering at all. I mean, there's just none, but they're so soft and they're so cushy. They don't make seats like this anymore. I mean, what strikes you is cars haven't evolved that much since 2001 when you really think about it. This is all remarkably similar to the system that you would use today. Okay, you even have a little maintenance menu, and look how in-depth that gets. There were compromises though, because it was quite expensive, retailing for just under $20,000 brand new. Okay, it was 2001, that was a lot of money. And it also sacrificed a lot of storage capacity for those large nickel metal hydride batteries. But even still, it paved the way for modern electrification in hybrids and EVs. Now, if we're being honest, the first gen Prius still looks like a pretty normal car. If you didn't know cars, you'd be hard pressed to tell it apart from like an Echo or maybe a Corolla. So when the second gen Prius came out for the 2004 model year, I mean, it was totally different, totally new, totally something that no one had seen before. The second generation Prius, known as the XW20, was a completely radical departure from the first. And if we're being honest, it was a completely radical departure from anything anyone had seen ever. It was designed to be aerodynamic, more slippery, more sleek. And check this out in the back, it's now a camback. So rather than being a traditional sedan, you could carry a ton of stuff. And this is the car that gave the Toyota Prius the reputation it has today. The XW20 Prius was the right car at the right time. Gas started getting expensive. There was a big drive toward more eco-conscious products, and the Prius represented all of that. Now, we don't talk about politics here at TSL. We don't want to get into all that, but it is worth noting that at the time, many celebrities went out and put their name on their list for the second generation Prius, and it kind of became the car that many famous and rich people went to buy if they wanted to be green.
It still drives pretty well. I mean, if you're looking for an everyday commuter car that's inexpensive, that's going to save you a lot of money on gas, this is still an excellent choice. But when you drive a full EV, like, and you put your foot down on this, all you hear is just...
Oh, wait, you're not in sport mode.
Oh, I'm not in sport
mode. Okay, now try
power mode. Okay.
You ready? Go. Go! Wow!
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine if you've never driven a full EV.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's adequate. If you're just looking to put around town, this is the car to do it in. All right, let's see how you start this Prius up. Now, both of these cars are from the Toyota Museum, so they do sit for quite a long time. So this key fob battery is dead, but normally I would just simply push the button and everything whirs into life. And check that out up there, 9,000 miles, under 9,000 miles. So this is a pretty early prototype, and a lot of these early graphics have changed over the years, but the first thing you notice is that there are basically no buttons at all in the center console. Everything, and I do mean everything, is integrated into the center screen. Even, check that out, the climate control. So I've got destination, I've got my map there, all of my audio screens. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And then the other cool thing is on the steering wheel here, look at all these controls I have. So not only do I have my audio controls here on the left, but I can even control my map here on the steering wheel. What I think is so cool about this is I never have to go into that screen while I'm driving. Check this out. Climate controls, boom. All done from the steering wheel. Defrost, rear defrost, recirc, it's all done right here, which is a really kind of unique touch. Of course, on the left here, I've got my different audio modes, so FM, AM, and all that jazz. Plus, gotta love the old-fashioned tape deck. Now, big old cubby here in the center, and we can talk about how this gear selector works. It's basically the same that you'll find in the old Prius, it's just differently positioned. So I've got drive, neutral, reverse, and then B, which is the extra regenerative braking mode. And then to put it in park, I just simply tap the button. It's all very elegant in here. I mean, this could, for the most part, be a new vehicle, and not many people would question it, which is really neat. Dual glove boxes, so I've got a top mounted glove box and the bottom there, and dual cup holders here. So I've got one there, and then I've got another that flip out. And just like the original Prius here, I have no center stack getting in the way of bags or any groceries or anything I may want to put down here. So a very clean, simple design. You can see the lineage to the first gen with the center console cluster mounted up high, and then of course you've got your infotainment screen here. The steering wheel still juts out from the center, and it is still incredibly light. Okay, so we fast forwarded about 9 years, and now we're taking a look at the brand new Toyota Prius. Well, it was new in 2015, recently updated. This is a 2019 Prius XW50. So we went from the 20 to the 50. We skipped the 30, we don't have it here today, and there was actually no 40 whatsoever. But this is the latest and greatest in Prius technology, and there's actually 3 versions of it. The standard Prius, the Prius Prime, which is the plug-in model, and lastly, the Prius all-wheel drive, which is a first in that family. Let's talk about, kind of what we're looking at inside here. I mean, does this interior feel special enough anymore? Do you think the screen is impressive enough, and the gauge cluster? What do you think of that? I
think the gauge cluster Toyota needs to go away with that middle IMROUT display.
Okay.
They've been doing that for years. I like the 11.6-inch display, although it's very much a knockoff of Tesla. This 19 model that we're driving doesn't have Apple CarPlay, which is frustrating. But if you guys get the 20s, you'll have it, which is nice, but still no Android Auto. Toyota doesn't do that yet, although they're introducing it on their trucks. But other than that, I mean, you got the nice screen. That's really the only highlight of this interior. It's got the nice big screen, and it has easy visibility, because the dash is really low. But everything else about it just kind of feels unremarkable. So I've got the Monroney here, and this 2019 model, stickers, it's a limited, so it's stickers at $33,670. What do you think on the value side of it? I think that it's actually pretty decent value. Yeah. Because I remember when this Prius first came out a couple of years ago, it was like 40 grand for like a loaded model. Right. I'm actually surprised that they've lowered the price a lot, because I mean that's a significant chunk that they've lowered it. But I mean, for like 34,000, this one's fully loaded. It is a pretty good deal. And I'm imagining a lot of Toyota dealers are probably discounting these a lot. So, I mean, yeah, their value is still very strong there. But I just want to see Toyota be the leader again. Like, they used to be the leader of alternative fuel vehicles. And, they were talking about at this media drive that they're putting all their eggs in the fuel cell basket, which the fuel cell infrastructure is just still so behind. It's so small. Yeah, and it's really frustrating, because the Mirai, and like I drove the Hyundai Nexo earlier this year, or this summer, it was actually a relatively impressive car in California. Like, you're in Denver and I'm in DC. There's just like, there's no infrastructure for that, which is a shame.
This right here is the Toyota Prius Prime, and it uses a slightly different philosophy on how it goes about being a car, because it's a standard hybrid when you want it to be. So you can drive it around on gas all day long. It'll charge the battery, deplete the battery as it sees fit, but it's also a plug-in hybrid. So with the Toyota Prius Prime, if you decide to plug it in, you can drive this car for 25 miles or thereabout on electricity alone at speeds of up to 84 miles an hour. So given your money, right, you've got, well, let's talk about the 3 options of Prius. So you've got the Prius all-wheel drive, the standard front-wheel drive Prius, which you're driving now, and the Prius Prime. Which one of those is your favorite? Or okay, how about let's expand it to Corolla hybrid, Camry hybrid,
You know, that's the thing is like for $34,000, you can get a Camry hybrid, which has more power.
Yeah.
It's a bigger vehicle. It's a more conventional looking car. And
Less efficient.
it is
less efficient.
It is a little less efficient, but if you go for the LE, it actually gets pretty similar gas mileage because the XLE and XS or SE gets like 44, 47. But still, for what you get in the Camry hybrid, it's pretty easy to see why more people are choosing the Camry hybrid or the RAV4 hybrid because they're just more conventional looking and you basically get more performance and similar gas mileage.
Well, the interesting thing that we learned today was of the Corolla, only 8% of new Corollas are hybrids, which seems tiny to me.
It is small, but I think the problem is the Corolla hybrid is only available in the base LE.
Oh, interesting.
And the gas Corolla gets pretty good gas mileage already.
Let me know in the comments section below which of the ones we saw today is actually your favorite generation. Now, a huge thank you to Sofiane Bey, who's behind the camera from Redline Reviews, for allowing me to blab about these Priuses today. And go back to tflcar.com for the latest and greatest and everything new and special.